Greetings, one and all, and welcome to the first episode of the Antagonist Archives. Villains are everywhere, no matter how far we look back. They have played many pivotal roles in stories, and tend to always be at the center of every plot, no matter what story is told. Whether it's through manipulation, or just being upfront, they are always the ones pulling at the strings of everything that is going on around them, no matter what form of media the story takes. 9 out of 10 times the story that we are being told or shown has a main hero that the viewer follows in order to get to know them, and the world they live in, along with the people that they would interact with, and among the many people we get to know, is the main bad guy, who causes upheaval in the world they inhabit. Most of the times they can be quite clever, or at their best, steal the spotlight from the protagonist that we should be cheering for, and if executed correctly, they can always be a great motivator to see the story through till the end. Even in most cases when they do something that makes you think they are such cool, awesome assholes that you would want to see them dead, and hope that the final battle with them will be as epic as the build-up. Yet in this day and age, only few people seem to actually look deep into the story, or into characters in general, and instead would rather look at the gorgeous graphics, special effects, or get sucked in so much by gameplay that the story and character development become an afterthought when being viewed, and in its creation. Not that I have a problem with those, as I believe they too bring something to the table in immersing yourself in its world. But just because a person spends so much time and effort to make everything look pretty, with solid gameplay, does it excuse people to give us a story so bland and nonsensical that has no effort or imagination put into it, that they expect us to eat up any stupid, uncreative idea that's not only a joke to creativity, but also a total disgrace to storytelling as a whole! Not many people seem bothered by this, and that's considering the general consensus that I end up hearing. I for one feel that well-told stories, or really intriguing characters, are forgotten due to the fact everyone would rather talk about gameplay, or amazing realistic artistic graphics, that seem to be becoming the forefront of where strong storytelling once was. So, being a person who enjoys a good story, I thought that I should give my own view, but instead on a most integral part of many stories, that were, and have become a part of our lives, and give homage to the best and worst of the lineup of antagonists that the entertainment industry have given to us.
This makes no sense. How could this happen to me?
Now with that out of the way, let us begin our journey to delve into the psyche of our first villain, bringing you our in-depth look and review into one evildoer so old and well-renowned in the gaming community, that even those who do not play the video game series he inhabits in question would immediately recognize both his name and appearance. I'm your host, Devar, and today not only are we going to look beneath the pretty graphics and innovative gameplay, but we shall also look beneath the villainous intent of none other than Bowser, aka King Koopa. Being the staple villain of the Mario series for over 25 years, one would think that Bowser has a complex and epic tale to tell. Well, actually, no. But it is sort of. Well, as much as you can get with kidnapping Princess Peach Toadstool in the Mushroom Kingdom in nearly every game, with a pair of plumbers as your arch-rivals. Guess heroic knights were expensive and hard to find back then, unless you just did it for free. And for cake! In his time he has had many plans, but many people remember his first, which involved 8 different castles, and 7 of these were to act as fakes, with a fake princess that ended up being one of the princess's many retainers called Toad, that would tell the hero that the princess was in another castle. Don't ask me why he thought that'd be a great idea. It seemed more like it served to infuriate someone more than anything. But then again, I am not an evil genius. He's also a great battle tactician, as he proved with his cunning plan of fighting intruders upon a bridge suspended over lava, with an axe that held it up at the end of it. Then he washed, lathered, rinsed and repeated his entire plan in the second game, the Lost Levels. Though economical at the time, he doesn't really get much credit for originality. Though he did add a fake Bowser in a hallway just ahead of himself, who looked as much like him as much as Arnold Schwarzenegger looked like someone's mother. But it's just not worth it if you're just going to use the first plan. Again! Mind you, I am getting a sense of deja vu from all this. However, even though many would think that he would abandon this idea when it didn't work the second time, he brings us back in the latest new Super Mario Bros. On both the Wii and DS. Seems to me that Bowser didn't want to get rid of this idea in hopes that it will someday work, and he could say to his henchmen,
"Ha! Told you so!"
Also on many occasions, he never worked alone as he dragged along his 7 kids called the Koopalings to help him out in his conquering business. Starting from the 3rd Mario game in the series. What a great father! Making time for his family even while trying to take over the Mushroom World and kidnapping Peach. Aww. But after the failure of taking over Dinosaur Island on the Super Nintendo, Bowser ditches him and brings in his youngest little runt called Bowser Jr. into Super Mario Sunshine on the GameCube. Seriously, where does he keep getting these kids? Is he like laying his own eggs, or is he a part-time gigolo who drinks power first? Anyway, at one point in the series on Princess Peach's birthday in New Super Mario Bros. Wii, the Koopalings made a return alongside Bowser Jr. to kidnap Princess Peach while cleverly disguised as cake decorations to enact the greatest kidnapping plan ever. They throw the cake on top of her and take her away. Happy birthday, Peach! This was not the only time though when Peach got kidnapped during a relaxing time, as she got kidnapped twice before. The first time being in Super Mario World while on holiday. That evil, conniving bastard. This diabolical act definitely deserves the scowling old man's seal of approval. And the second time she was kidnapped by Bowser Jr. when she was on holiday again. Like father, like son, I guess. But then again, Bowser is supposedly on holiday too, so I guess that's more fair. Especially if you consider that he doesn't put her in a cage or lock her in a room this time. But then if they're on holiday in the same place at the same time, that means that he is stalking her! The pervert? Actually, that may not be so far off, as there were also times when he tried to get married to the princess. Didn't think I had to say that. Mainly in Super Paper Mario, and in both Super Mario Galaxy 1 and 2, that held the Star Festival, which takes place every 100 years. Let's not question it, okay? In both Mario Galaxy games, he goes out of his way to attack them, to have the princess become his blushing bride, but more importantly of them all, get her to bake him a cake that he's been gagging for 25 years. With his grand evil scheme of getting his cake and eating it too aside, it sounds odd, doesn't it, that a princess you've been kidnapping for over 25 years, for conquering reasons, and to have joined you on vacation at one point, would seriously want to have her as his linchpin to create a successful empire, when she doesn't really have much desire for that, or for him that matter, would be considered a perfect honeymooners or Flintstones marriage made in heaven!
How would you like to be the first human being to land on the moon?
Shut up.
Oh well, just roll with it, I say. After all these games and these many years he has been kidnapping the princess, all his plans have been great successes! You can definitely see that after all these years that not much has changed in Bowser's approach on how to handle the situation. Though in most of the other games like Super Mario RPG, Legend of the Seven Stars on the SNES, to Mario and Luigi Bowser's Inside Story on the DS, he has been known to still be antagonistic in some way, but yet still help out his archenemy if it somehow benefited him. Like say, getting his castle back from a greater evil, or wanted to help out curing Princess Peach's voice to stop exploding everything around her that would ruin his precious castle that he cleaned thoroughly just for her. Out of rain, sleet, and snow, this is the only thing that would stop all evil villains from kidnapping the princess. There is also a great past between the Mario Brothers and Bowser, starting from the SNES's Super Mario World 2, Yoshi's Island, where as a young toddler, baby Bowser's lackey Magic Koopa Kamek tried to kidnap them, just so their destiny to become a thorn in the little Koopa's side would not come to fruition. He has also been cited in the Nintendo 64's Yoshi's Story, where he stole the Super Happy Tree from the Yoshis, which sounds like some type of Super Happy Fun slide from an amusement park. And he has even fought against Mario Luigi, Baby Mario, and Baby Luigi, alongside with his older self, and even act as an annoyance by stealing their crystal shards in Mario and Luigi's Partner in Time on the DS. Also, there have been a time where Bowser made a not-so-glowing and laughable appearance in Hotel Mario on the Philips CDI, and even decided to kidnap Mario for once in Mario is Missing, with Luigi being his educational savior on the NES, SNES, PC, and Mac. Ah, the joys of Nintendo licensing. However, when Bowser isn't up to his devious schemes, he plays sports, rides around in tiny carts, and even does board game parties. That fiend! Bowser also appeared in 3 other forms of media, one under an alias in a cartoon series known as The Super Mario Bros. Super Show as King Koopa, while still doing his usual thing of trying to take over whatever land the episode took place in, kidnap Peach here and there, and do some random strange stuff that just did not advance anything, not even humanity. Personally, it is my belief this cartoon series must have been someone's dreams that were somehow placed on paper and animated just because it counted as an idea somehow.
Hey, I can think of another way things could be worse.
The second was only by someone who had the same name as him, but yet did not share the same appearance as the large Koopa himself. For in the live-action movie version, he looked more realistic, less cartoony, and with an over-the-top panto-esque acting that would put school play actors to shame. But as this has already been covered multiple times by certain individuals, we shall bomb on. A lot of you probably know about most of these stories, but would you believe there was an anime movie based on the Mario Brothers? Super Mario Bros. Peach Hime Kyutsu Daisakusen, which in literal translation means Super Mario Brothers, the great mission to rescue Princess Peach, was basically what it said on the tin. Much like in a similar way to the live-action movie, Mario and Luigi live in the real world, while Bowser and Peach are from a NES game. During the night, though, something odd happens when Mario's TV suddenly acts strange, and Princess Peach comes out of the TV screen, soon followed by Bowser as well, and he, you've guessed it, kidnaps Princess Peach.
Of course!
Long story short, though, after gaining a reference to Triforce in Mario Power-Up form, Bowser loses not only the princess he tries to be wedded to, but also goes out with a bang. Strangely enough though, Nintendo and Shigeru Miyamoto do not consider the film exists, leading many to believe that Nintendo had no part in its creation at all. But, as it is, this shall be archived, much like the rest of the media that came to light involving Bowser. So from what we have learned from this long history on this particular antagonist, is that he is a large Koopa of all Koopas, with a spiky shell that is simply put, a dinosaur-like creature, who is quite clever and is able to speak in Mario's tongue surprisingly well enough, even though to many of us it sounds more like he is growling and groaning out every sentence he speaks, and he has an unhealthy compulsion where he does the same plan every week, and that no matter what he does, he must kidnap the princess!
Let's see now, do the laundry, kidnap the princess, dust the statues, kidnap the princess, mow the lawn, kidnap the princess, set traps inside castle, kidnap the princess, put princess inside the cage, and, kidnap the princess. That's my day sorted.
Sadly for him, he has never once succeeded in his goals, and he has only ever had small victories that he could have some semblance of pride to keep his dignity as an evil tyrant of the Mushroom Kingdom intact. Throughout all the many encounters, Bowser has had many techniques at his disposal. Not only does he command a great number of henchmen that are willing to walk back and forth in the same spot as beck and call, but he can also fight for himself if need be, consisting of being able to use his own body to roll or spike his enemies, and he has an amazing jumping capability for his size, in order to squash his enemies that are unlucky to be underneath him. Also with his sheer large size, he is able to lift heavy objects with his own brute strength, and he could blast fireballs towards his enemies, which in later years became being able to breathe fire at a distance. And in Super Smash Bros. Melee and Brawl, he had shown an ability where he can transform into a more larger and fearsome form called Giga Bowser, also known as Giga Koopa in Japan. So, yeah, dinosaurs can breathe fire and transform into Gajira. Oh no! He can also perform a spin attack similar to Mario himself, but instead it covered more distance without requiring a jump, and he has owned the skill of driving the horrifying and evil vehicle known as the Koopa Clown Car. That maniacal flying egg cup continues to give me nightmares. Worse than the sharp talons of Giga Bowser. Though he displays great power in his brute strength, and is able to burn you to a crisp, his weaknesses come in the form of being extremely slow, and most times he has to be at a close distance in order to cause harm. However, his jumping capability slightly makes up for that, with how high he can go into the air, unlike most heavy people. That is if he doesn't land on anything breakable. Yet only on 2 occasions has he ever shown the ability to throw a great number of hammers at once, and after that it has never returned, as it seemed left to the Hammer Brothers to handle them, as Bowser in future games opted to use large cannonballs and other heavy objects. After all these years we had known this Koopa for over 25 years, yet we still do not exactly know why Bowser does what he does. Sure, we can accept that he wants to conquer many lands and have it under his rule, but regardless of that, why kidnap Princess Peach? There have been times when he kidnaps the princess for no discernible reason whatsoever, as she was literally not in the Mushroom Kingdom on a few occasions, which would have been a great time to invade her kingdom, but what do I know? And Bowser just went out of his way to get Peach into his clawed clutches. Now we all know about the rumours, which even though it's not confirmed by anyone in the Mushroom Kingdom itself, or by Peach, a great many think there is a bit of Beauty and the Beast romance going on between them, which explains how the Koopalings and Bowser Jr. came into the picture. But you know, if you think about it, with how Bowser acts whenever Peach is in the area, and take into account the times where he helped Mario and Peach out for his own reasons, but also that one time on holiday in Sunshine where he let her freely be in the hot tub, don't ask, with him and his son. You know what? This sounds more like a strange relation of father and daughter. What doesn't make sense? Of course it does! Think about it! Peach, feeling trapped by her father's house rules, decides to run away from home, which greatly upsets him, only to vastly get under his skin more when he finds out she built a new kingdom without his permission, and literally tries to ground her in every possible way he can think of, only to have a plumber who thinks he can get in good with his daughter that he would gladly protect her from, ruin his plans to punish his disobedient child.
Now you stay in that cage over the lava and think about what you've done.
But Father, I want you to be happy that I moved out.
I want no backtalk from you, Missy. You have a lot of grounding time to make up for.
When Mario hears of this, he will come for me whether you like it or not.
Listen, sweetie, you're not marrying that washed-up plumber. He's no good for you.
I never even wanted to ask for your permission, Daddy.
That does it. At first, I was going to be lenient with you, but you leave me no choice. No dinner or supper for you. Now sit here and think about what you did as I go wait over by the bridge that's only suspended by an axe.
So, if we think about it this way, it somehow makes sense. Oh, come on, you know it does. Seriously though, from what little we know on him and his simple motivation, Bowser has gained respect for his determination and his willingness to keep on trying to succeed in his goals, serve as a great inspiration to us all. Okay, with those 3 reviewed, here is where we conclude on the villain in question, and state how they have influenced antagonists as a whole, and whether their character still works in this day and age as they did when they first came to our attention. Bowser is what I say is considered a classical type of villain. He kidnaps the princess for one reason or another, and makes us feel that we have to save her from his evil clutches. He oddly enough still works as a good antagonist to this day, and he even sets the bar for what a good villain should strive to be. No, not kidnap a princess! It is, if you're still living, breathing, and able to walk even after so many beatings, you must try and try again. And if one plan didn't work before, just try and think of another way to settle things with your arch-rival, have the land under your rule, and get the princess in the end. And even though he is not considered a serious threat to many people, he is still a famed villain to this day, especially for others to go beyond the line that has been set by the simple antagonist. I don't know about you folks, but I feel after all the games, cartoons, anime, and that one nonsensical movie that was loosely based on the game series he had been in, deserves a salute for all the years he has put his evil heart and mind into. This is to you, Bowser. May you continue your evil deeds, and onwards to more great games. I am Devar, and this archive has come to a close.
Junior, I've got something difficult to tell you. The internet is for porn. The internet is for porn. What are you doing? Why you think the net was born? Porn, porn, porn.
Join us next time on the Antagonist Archives, where we will unearth a Crimson Mage's dark omen that resides in the obscurity of memory.